The alert was older than the assembly. Ambassador Kel Rivan knew that tone the way you know a scar. It came from a sealed module in his desk, a device no one bothered to maintain anymore because the promise tied to it was supposed to be dead. Across the council hall, delegates argued about mining rights and shipping lanes. Kel barely heard them. On his screen, an authentication chain, unspooled in antique Terran standard. A single header blinked. Death signal received. Kel's forehands went cold. His throat sacs fluttered once. Involuntary 2 lines followed. Simple, human. We kept our word. Now we repay. Yours. Kel. So fast his chair tipped back. The galaxy had forgotten the humans Kel never had, because Kel was LUMARI, and 250 years ago his people had saved Earth back then. The LUMARI Chorus was a migrating convoy, seed ships and families drifting toward a new home. They were builders, not conquerors. They shaped air, coaxed oceans, sang to solar wind. Then a cry hit subspace like a fist. A planet called Earth was about to be erased. A comet, fractured and massive, was screaming toward the blue world. Human technology was young. Their defenses were loud and brave and useless. Their broadcasts spilled into the void, overlapping fear, anger, prayer. Kel was a junior navigator then, watching the approach vectors flicker on a halo table while senior officers argued about risk. If the chorus diverted, they might miss their destination. If they engaged their gravity looms at that scale, they would burn out the convoy's core. Matriarch Sale of the chorus ended the debate in one breath. "We do not let a young species die alone," she said. The convoy turned when they arrived at Sol's edge. The humans flooded every channel. A human leader appeared on the screen, eyes rimmed red, jaw clenched so hard her teeth shook. "We can pay," she said. "We have metals, art, labor." Sale listened. Then she asked for something no one expected. Time. Sale replied. "We have watched you. You are brilliant. You are quick. You are dangerous. You turn grief into weapons and victory into hunger." The human's face hardened. Sale did not soften. "If we save you, you will quarantine yourselves. 2. In 50 years, no colonies, no expansion, no contacts. Learn restraint, learn peace, become worthy of the lives we will spend." Earth argued. Of course they did. Humans always argued. Then the comet's shadow began to crawl across their data feeds, and the arguing stopped. The human leader returned. She swallowed hard. "We give our word," she said. 250 years. We stays of gravity. Looms engaged. Space bent. I screamed. The comet's path shifted, slow at first, then decisive, dragged away from Earth's curve like a predator's. Jaw pried open, and the chorus died for it. Gravity is not forgiving when you insult it. Looms overheated, hulls buckled, ships tore in radiant spirals. 57,000 LUMARI lights winked out, one after another, until the convoy was only debris and fading song. Earth survived. Humanity's broadcasts became mourning. Kel remembered Sale's final transmission, soft and almost amused. "Keep your promise," she said. "That'll be enough." Then Earth went silent. The galaxy assumed the humans would break within decades. They did not. Centuries rolled on. Trade maps shifted. Empires fell. New species rose that had never heard the name Sol. The humans became a rumor filed under obsolete threats. Kel grew old with grief. Then the death signal arrived, and the past slammed into the present like a door kicked open. Kel forced his way onto the speaker's platform. "Emergency session," he demanded. "Level black." Director Vin of the Heliarch block blinked her 6 pupils in irritation. "On what grounds, Ambassador? You disrupt a vote cycle." Kel projected the message over the chamber. "We kept our word. Now we repay yours." A ripple moved through the hall. Skepticism, unease, a few laughs that died too quickly. "The humans are extinct," a senator said. "Or primitive. Or both." Kel pointed to the cipher chain. "This code predates half your federations. Only Earth and the chorus possessed it." Vin waved a thin arm. "Even if it is real, what can they be now? 2.5 centuries cut off from commerce. They will be behind." Kel's laugh came out dry. "You think silence means stagnation?" The chamber erupted. Some demanded fleets, some demanded probes. Merchants smelled profit, militarists smelled insult. Nobody wanted to admit the oldest emotion underneath it all, fear. In the end, they approved one reconnaissance mission to the border of Sol Space. Kel volunteered before anyone could stop him. 3 days later, his courier ship slid into the dark at the edge of the Soul Exclusion Zone. A vessel waited there, not a fortress, not a swarm. One ship, sleek, black, minimal markings. It sat in the void as if the void belonged to it. Kel's sensors tried to pin it down and failed in subtle, humiliating ways. Distance jittered. Signature flattened. It was like the ship chose how much of itself to reveal. A hail request appeared. Kel accepted. A human woman filled the screen. Brown skin, close-cropped hair, calm eyes that made Kel's membranes prickle. "I am Envoy Mara Chen," she said, tearing compact. "Ambassador Kel Rivan." She said his name correctly. Kel's voice cracked anyway you get. Mara's expression softened by a fraction. "We said we would. You honored the quarantine," Kel said. "No contact, no expansion, not even a whisper." "We fought about it for generations," Mara admitted. "We wrote laws. We built habits. We taught children why the promise mattered." Kel tasted something sharp behind his eyes. "You remember?" Mara nodded. "Every Remembrance Day we read 57,000 names. We do not shorten the list. We do not skip the difficult syllables. We do not let it become a symbol. It stays a debt." Kel's throat sacs fluttered. "Then why break silence now?" Mara's gaze sharpened. "Because your people are dying." Kel froze. The chorus fade was not common knowledge. It was too shameful, too helpless. A slow genetic unraveling that dulled color, weakened lungs, and made births rarer every cycle. "There is no cure," Kel said. "We accepted it." Mara's voice went colder. "Humans do not accept that." Kel forced his composure. "The Council will oppose you. They still fear the old files. They will call you dangerous." Mara's mouth twitched. "They will be correct." She leaned forward slightly. "But not to our friends," Kel exhaled, long and shaky. "You cannot fix what dozens of species failed to fix." "We did not isolate for comfort," Mara said. "We isolated to grow teeth and learn when not to use them." Kel felt the weight of choice. If he brought humans to Lumenholm, the Council might retaliate. If he refused, his people would keep fading into silence. He pictured the hospitals, the empty schools, songs sung shorter because lungs could not hold the old notes. "Yes," Kel said. "I will take you." Mara nodded once. "Then send word to your matriarch. Humanity is coming to repay its debt." The call ended. Kel sat alone in the dark, and the galaxy felt suddenly smaller. News hit the Council before Kel even turned around. Emergency meetings, ancient archives, old fears dusted off and sharpened. Director Vin projected Earth on the central display, tagged with hazard codes. "Soul is a high-mortality biosphere," she declared. "Humans evolved under constant predation, disease pressure, and internal conflict. Their aggression is documented." Kel stood in the witness ring. "Their loyalty is documented too," he said. Vin's eyes narrowed. "They have no right to interfere in Council affairs." 100 voices argued at once. Then the lights flickered, and every console chimed. Mara Chen appeared on every screen, calm as sunrise. "Good cycle," she said. "Your security is not adequate. We entered in under 10 minutes. Please fix that." Vin surged to her feet. "This is a private session." Mara's gaze stayed flat. "I am not here for your permission. I am here to prevent misunderstandings." She spoke clearly, as if dictating a law. "We are going to Lumenholm. We are going to cure the fate. We are not joining your council. We want no territory. We want no throne." A militarist barked. "You bring one ship." Mara smiled, and Kel's membranes tightened. "This is our diplomatic ship," she corrected. The display shifted to deep space beyond council senses. Dark shapes waited there, barely visible until Mara's feet sharpened them. Hundreds of ships stood silent, patient. Asterisk 250 years is a long time, Mara said softly. "We hoped you would be kind. We prepared in case you were not." Vin's voice shook as a threat. "It is a promise," Mara said. "We will save the chorus. Anyone who tries to stop us will regret their decision. Help us, or step aside." The feed cut. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then the chamber exploded into fear and politics and helpless anger. Kel was already gone. He had a message to send. Lumenholm was still beautiful. Silver clouds over green seas. Floating gardens, drifting like slow music, but the city lights were sparse, dimmed to conserve power for hospitals. When the human shuttle descended beside Kel's craft, the planetary defense grid did not challenge them. Too few operators remained. On the landing platform waited Matriarch Ilara Sale, descendant of the one who had died in soul. Her skin shimmered with muted color. Grief held too long. "I welcome you," Ilara said in careful Terran standard. "But I do not understand why you have come." Mara stepped forward and dropped to one knee. She bowed her head. 57,000 of your people died so mine could live," Mara said. "We remember every name. We teach them. We sing them." Ilara's color flickered, a thin thread of gold. "You owe us nothing," she said. "The debt was paid by your isolation." "With respect," Mara replied, rising. "Humans do not keep score like that. Your sacrifice gave us a future. Now we fight for yours." Ilara's throat sacs trembled. "The fade cannot be cured," Mara turned. A man stepped down the ramp, carrying a plain case. "Dr. Jonah Suleiman," Mara said. "Genetics, systems medicine, stubbornness as a lifestyle." Jonah bowed. "Matriarch, I need full access. Archives, samples, patients, everything." Ilara hesitated, then nodded. "You will have it, but do not hope too loudly. Hope breaks." Jonah's smile was small. "Then it is fortunate humans are hard to break." The next days were a blur of work and silenced. Jonah's team built models that crawled across walls. They mapped Lumari lineages back to the first migration songs. They compared healthy genomes to fading ones, chasing the defect like a shadow. Mara walked empty schools. She watched children practice shortened hymns, stopping to cough, embarrassed. She visited hospitals where old Lumari lay with lungs too weak to sing. "This is slowed extinction," she whispered one night. Ilara stood beside her in a garden that had grown wild. "Why do you care?" she asked. "You are safe. You could have stayed sealed." Mara stared up at the stars. "My grandfather took me to our monument when I was small. He made me read names until my tongue ached. He told me those lives bought mine." She swallowed. "We've spent 250 years trying to become worthy of that." On the fourth night, Jonah requested a secure meeting. Ma arrived with her security chief. Ilara joined them, colors anxious. Jonah did not soften the blow. "The fade is not natural," he said. "It is engineered." Silence slammed down. Ilara's skin drained toward pale white. Jonah displayed the pattern. A bioinsert stitched into Lumari DNA, designed to integrate over generations and trigger cascading failure. Slow enough to mimic entropy. Precise enough to be a signature. Who?" Mara asked, voice low. Jonah changed the image to a species profile. Tall, angular beings with bone-bright skin and faceted eyes, the Varkan consort. He said, "Only they used this scaffold, they did this." Ilara sank into a chair, four hands trembling. "Why would they murder us?" "Because they wanted you gone without a war," Mara said. Her calm turned sharp. "Because they thought no one would answer." Jonah met Mara's gaze. "Now that we know the mechanism, we can reverse it. Treatment in months. Stabilization within a year." Mara nodded once. "Do it." Then she turned to her chief. "Tell Fleet Command, we have a second task." Voice was thin. "What task?" Mara looked at the Varkan profile, eyes hard as forged steel. "We're going to make sure they never do this again," she said. To anyone. The Terran fleet arrived at the edge of Varkan space like night, becoming solid. Admiral Ruiz Caden opened a broadcast on all frequencies. 237 years ago," he said, "you deployed a biological weapon into the Chorus. You designed a quiet genocide. You believed it would never be traced." His voice stayed steady. "You are wrong. Here is your choice. Surrender every individual involved. Provide all documentation. You have 12 hours. Paused. "If you refuse, we will dismantle your military capability. We will not target civilians, but we will remove your teeth." The Varkan replied with denial and threats. 12 hours passed. Then the Terran struck. They did not glass cities. They did not burn oceans. They went for shipyards, weapons arrays, command relays, missiles and kinetic rods shredded targets with surgical brutality. Varkan fleets surged to meet them and found their elegant, disabling beams useless against layered Terran armor and redundant systems. When Varkan ships broadcast surrender, Terran fire ceased on them, instantly, like a switch flipped. 6 hours later, Varkan war capability was broken, not annihilated, but crippled beyond pride. Admiral Caden opened a second channel. "The killing is over," he said. "Now surrender. The perpetrators. 6 hours. This time, that Varkan complied. Data drives, names, confessions, back on Lumen home. Jonah's treatment spread like sunrise. Lumari lungs strengthened, colors brightened, birth rate stabilized, then rose. Songs returned in full harmonies, rolling through plazas that had been quiet for years. Matriarch Ilara watched a group of recovered children chase each other through a fountain, laughing without coughing. Mara stood beside her, hands clasped behind her back. "You saved us," Ilara said. "How can we repay you?" Mara's smile was small and tired. "You already did." Above them, the stars looked less like cold distance and more like roads. Across the galaxy, councils whispered, empires recalculated, and frightened species learned a new rule: humans keep their promises, and when humans decide you are a friend, they will cross the dart to prove it. 2 weeks later, the Galactic Assembly reconvened. Directive In demanded sanctions. "They violated our warfare accords," she insisted. "They use weapons we banned." Kel Rose never signed your accords, he said. "You cannot bind a species to treaties written while they kept their promise in silence," a delegate snapped. "They crippled a council member. They stopped a genocide," Kel replied. "And they handed you proof you chose not to see." The hall went quiet, because the evidence was undeniable and the Varkan confessions were clear. Mara Chen appeared again, this time on an official channel. "We will share the Fade Cure freely," she said. "We will not demand tribute. We will not take worlds. We will defend our allies, and we will leave everyone else alone." Vin asked, "And if we oppose you?" Mara's answer was absolute. "Then you will learn we do not fear you." The vote that followed was narrow, but final. Humanity was recognized as an independent power, outside council command, with full right to defend its allies. Kel returned to Lumenholm with a decree and watched Matriarch Ilara read it under a sky bright with city light dotting the streets below. Children practiced a full, old song at long last, lungs strong enough to hold every note. Kel realized the galaxy had gained something dangerous, not a conqueror, a friend who never forgets.